Welcome to CARDESIGN.ACADEMY, and welcome to part 2 of my interior concept for the full-size electric pickup truck, which I'm calling now Ionic T. This is based on a series of demos that I did last year, starting with this exterior sketch, and then progressing into a gravity sketch exterior model, and then finally into some exploration on a target user. In this case, the owner of a sustainable home building business who needs to use his vehicle as a mobile office as much as it is to be a work vehicle on the site. This is for the owner, not necessarily the workers. So anyway, it's a very premium vehicle, electric powered. He wants to convey a sustainable business, and this is some of the imagery associated with that in terms of colors, materials, patterns, and textures. And then I did this series of layout sketches in which I documented this transition from driving mode to a mobile office mode, in which the instrument panel slides out and becomes a desk, and the center console becomes a coffee table. So there's sort of this dual zone office and relaxation area. And then just some quick form study sketches. And then from there, I just did a series of interior layouts in which I developed those two primary modes. So in the case of the driving mode, here I'll ghost out the exterior. So this is the driving mode, pretty conventional seating layout, and then the mobile office mode, in which the occupant is now sitting at a 45-degree angle with his hands in a typing position. You can also see a secondary position in which the occupant can sit in kind of a more relaxed lounge position with a coffee table. So it should be a very functional, very versatile interior. I mean, pickup trucks have gigantic interiors, so they're gigantic vehicles. So anyway, what I'm going to do is the next thing I'm going to do is start to put some surface to this interior. And what I really want to do is get sort of take the outside of the vehicle and develop sort of the interior skin of it. So that would be like your sort of main tub of the interior and the headliner. So I just want to show you how that works, because that's how we're going to start to put some real dimension to this interior and move it beyond just a sketch and into more of a model. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the tires. I'm going to turn the wireframe, the exterior wireframe, way down. And I'm also going to turn off the driving modes. So I'm going to turn off the mobile office. Okay. So here I'm just left with the overall tub of the interior. In fact, I could even probably just turn the exterior wireframe completely off. So basically, I'm going to build this today. What I'm going to do is, so I've already got a surface for this raised floor area, which covers the drivetrain. So I'm just going to build out this overall tub of the interior. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to start by creating a sub D surface. I'm going to bridge curves, and I'm just going to go ahead and select these two curves right here. Oh, I got to unlock the layer first. That would help. Okay, interior wireframe. Oh no, it is unlocked. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's on this side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I'm back on my, yep, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and bridge these two curves. Actually, let's select full curve. As you can see, these were two identical curves, so so it should put down a fairly decent surface. So I'm gonna select that surface. I'm gonna translate it to sub D, and what it's going to do is it's created an extra row of polys here that I don't want. So I'm gonna just turn on auto select loops and delete that. So it's now just a straight surface. The other thing I'm going to do is mirror it. Okay, so it's a mirrored object. Okay, so from there, I'm going to be using the interior wireframe more as a reference. So I'm gonna kind of ghost it out quite a bit here. So this is going to just set up the whole belt line of the vehicle, and then from there I'll build down, just sort of extrude down from there. So here, let me go ahead and lock that. Just lock all the layers that I don't need here. So there we go. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to do is just assign a more reflective shader so I can kind of see what I'm doing surface-wise. Okay, and then I'm going to start to select some points here. I'm going to go into I'm going to turn subdivisions off, so it's pure polygon. I'm going to grab this whole bottom edge here and just extrude straight down. I'm going to start with that. And as you can see, I'm gonna basically work it down to this lower line as a reference. So I'm just gonna start manually modifying the points. And once we get fairly close, I'll go ahead and turn it back to smooth view. Okay, so we're fairly close. I'm just looking for any lingering lumps and bumps. It's pretty lumpy, but what we might do at some point is just delete some. Why don't we do that now? We'll just delete some extra edges here. That'll make it easier to straighten everything out. And we can add those polys back in once we're a bit closer. Okay, so yeah, so it's a much smoother surface now. So now I can go in and fine tune this this inner edge here. Get it close to the design intent. And it's quite flat on the bottom. I turn on my my smooth view again, and then I'm going to just start adding some polys to bring back the tension. And then I'm also going to add an edge here to define that the top of that beveled surface. Now we have this nice beveled edge. So I'm just going to go in and just double check and see if we need to tune the top line as well. But I think we're pretty good for now. Okay, so yeah, it's looking pretty good. So then we're gonna I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna duplicate this edge again. So I'm going to overbuild it a little bit so we can run it into the floor. So let's try it this way. Yeah, that works. Because now all I have to do is move the endpoints. That's looking pretty good. Now, one thing you'll see is the seat that I built actually goes outside the tub. So I'm going to have to adjust that seat. That's one of the things you just don't see in a wireframe very easily. So we'll adjust that. I am going to go ahead. I'm noticing a lot of twisting in that upper beveled edge. So I'm going to go back to Polyview, and I'm going to delete this extra row that I had before. And then I'm just going to go in and check for twists. So you can see, like, for example, this edge here is leaning more than this edge. So I'm just going to go in and just tune that up a bit. So they're all kind of leaning in the same direction. So they're all catching light in the same way. So let's see how that looks. So I can probably just do it this way. There. Okay, and later on we'll check it with the exterior and see if we've got to adjust that. But yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. I see a little bit of a dip here. Okay. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so we got a nice tub going here. Next thing I'm going to do is I think I already built a surface for the floor. So let's go into the layers here, and I think under interior wireframe there was a floor. Maybe not. Well, I do have this surface, so I'm going to grab this surface and drop it in to this layer. And I'm going to assign that kind of silvery gray shader to it. And you can see there's a surface there. It needs a bit of work. So what I'll probably do is I'm gonna bake mirrored, and I'm gonna delete half of this. So I want to get you can see how the polygons are all kind of fanning out. That's really bad topology. So I'm going to delete that, and then what I'm going to do is extrude out of here, so I get a nice even strip of sub D. I can actually just take that all the way out to here, and then I'll just delete the other side. Then I can got a lot of extra geometry here that we can get rid of as well. Yeah. Let's check up here. Yeah, we're pretty good up here. Okay, so then if I mirror that, it all joins at the center line. It's a much cleaner surface. So yeah, that's what we'll do. And then from there, I can just extrude out a nice floor, like so. I'll add some additional edging to define that corner a little bit better. And then up here, I can just bring this in so it's a little more. So it's just overlapping. That way, if I make any changes to the I'm sorry, if I make any changes to the main tub, I don't have to redo the floor every time. I'm just going to tighten up this intersection here. I would like to get a bit more of a kind of a bevel along the bottom edge of this. Yeah, there, that's better. Along the bottom edge of that tub, just so it's got a little more of a trucky feel to it. I'm noticing there's a bit of a dip here in my polys, so I'm just going to adjust that a little bit. Let's try to get it as even as possible. This is just a little extra sub-D surface that I did when I was doing the wireframe. Let's get rid of that. I don't need that anymore. So that's looking pretty good. And what's great now is I can go in, later on. I probably won't right now, but I'll probably go in and delete the interior wireframe. But okay, so we've got a basic tub. What I'm going to do is bring in the so we're going to start doing the headliner now. So I'm going to call this layer tub. I'm going to call this the tub. Okay. And I'm going to go in and do the headliner. So for that, I'm going to bring in the exterior. So I'm going to start a new layer. I'm going to call that headliner. We're going to want to keep the headliner on a separate layer because there's going to be some, when we do some of our interior screenshots, we're going to want to peel away the roof in some cases. So it's nice to have the headliner as a separate element. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is bring in the exterior. And unlock the layer. I'm going to grab the glass and the body, and I'm going to duplicate them, raise them. I'll just raise them up here. I'll manually move it. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these surfaces to headliner. Okay, and you'll see what I'm going to do in a few minutes here. So I'm going to lock the exterior, turn it back off. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut away the exterior below the belt. So I'm going to delete just about everything below the belt. So the headliner is a really important part of giving sort of dimension and realism to the vehicle. So once I start to render this vehicle in let's say VRED or Keyshot, having with see-through glass and all of that, or even in Gravity Sketch, having like real pillars and all of that is going to be really important. So in this case, I have a blacked out A pillar, but the headliner is going to be just under the body surface. So what I did was I just duplicated the exterior skin and I'm going to just bringing it down underneath the outer skin. So if I turn on the exterior again, here, what I'm going to do is actually assign a different shader. I'll just assign a gray shader. And then if I turn on the exterior layer, you can see it's clearly underneath that surface. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to give it I'm going to give it some I'm going to need the flashlight so I can shine up in here, but I'm just going to give it some thickness, and I'm going to run this A pillar down the front there. So anyway, okay, so I'm back to my headliner, and I'm going to lock my interior wireframe layer. Make sure all my other layers are locked. It's very important to keep your layers organized because it can get confusing very quickly. So first thing I want to do is get my A pillar figured out. So it looks like I've got a couple of rows of polygons that are quite conveniently located. I'm going to go and turn off my sub Ds, and I'm going to turn off some extra rows here, and I'm going to grab this surface, grab this face right here, and extrude out of it like so, and that's going to form the interior surface of my A pillar. And I'm going to grab the flashlight. I'm going to just try to locate where that A pillar wants to be. So you can see I already have this nice thick A pillar, but not too thick. I am going to let it taper a little bit towards the outside, and it's already an enclosed shape. What I can do though is, I'm going to bring this edge down right onto that interior tub surface and bring it out just a little bit and bring this out. Actually, what I'm going to probably end up doing is just thickening the belt line a little bit, because I know what an A pillar is supposed to be in terms of thickness, and that's about right. So one thing I can do is take this leading edge here and bring it back. So what they tend to do with A pillars is kind of taper them, so they have a more trapezoidal section. And what that does is it just helps minimize the visual the visual interruption of the A pillar, while maintaining the thickness and strength. So I am gonna thin it up a little bit at the top. And thin it up a little bit up here as well. Okay. So I'm going to have to think a little bit about how this A pillar is going to touch down. So what I'm going to do is turn on my interior wireframe. I just want to double check and see where that... Okay, now I'm going to turn on my driving mode. So I just want to see where that IP is. So you can see I've got my IP touching right there. I want the relationship of the A pillar to this IP to be resolved in some way. So I can always adjust the IP. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm close enough. I can just adjust this tub to what I want is the A pillar to touch down nicely on this upper surface here. So I'm going to turn off the interior, and I'm going to have to adjust my tub. So I'm going to unlock that layer. I have to go to the other side here. And I'm just going to bring these surfaces out. that'll just give a little bit more robustness to the door section. And just let it taper up towards the C-pillar. Maybe bring this down a little bit too. So it's got a nice relationship here. Just really quick, I'm going to turn on my exterior again. I'm just looking for where the actual glass surface is. All right, so we'll have to adjust that a little bit. You can see that the pillar is coming through the glass just slightly. So I'm going to bring it in a little bit on this outer surface so it's entirely contained. So if I go ahead and, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some additional edges here to just tighten up that corner. And then I'm going to start to close out my headliner. So So I'm just going to start running straight down the middle here to the back, and I'm going to connect it at the rear. Grab my flashlight. That flashlight does come in handy when you're doing these under-facing surfaces. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Actually, I'll go this way. I'll just connect the front and rear points. Do it again. Connect the front and rear points. And one more time. And then what I'm going to do is add a series of edges in which I can connect here, 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 and here. So you can see my cross section is a little bit funky right now. So I'm gonna bring these points up a bit. So I'm just gonna add some additional edges here. And to start to mimic the exterior. Doesn't have to be too precise because you're never really going to see it in its full glory. But we just want it to generally mimic the exterior. Actually, if I turn mirroring off, then I can really see the cross sections. And then we're gonna fill in this C pillar. I'm just adding the additional edge here just so I can connect it here and here. And then I can just fill in down through here. I'm going to let it spread out as it comes down. Then I can extrude out of here and just bring it all the way down into the belt line. So back here, where it meets the tub, I'm gonna also try to I'm just gonna work on the sectioning here, bevel the edge a bit. Just contouring this inner surface so it's got a little more hollowness to it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add some additional edges back. So this edge is going to run all the way around and down the A pillar. So I'll do that a couple more times. Along here. And back here. So if I turn on sub D again, see I've got a nice inner surface going there. I'm going to turn mirroring back on. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is the actual back window is back here. So we're going to actually have to take all of this. Let's grab the flashlight again. Where's the flashlight? There it is. Okay. So the actual headliner is going to have to reach all the way back to here. Actually, I'm gonna leave it where it is for now. Actually, no, I'm not. So I'm gonna bring it back. And bring it in as well. So up here, you notice the A-pillar is really tapering and not quite touching down where it should be. So I just need to add an extra edge there. That'll make it look like a nice separate piece of trim. Like that. I'm going to take the tub in and just thicken out the shoulder surface here. And I'm just trying to control how this headliner touches down on the belt. Okay, so now if I turn on the exterior again, you know, it's pretty close. You know, it's a nice relationship between the headliner and the body. I think I would like to get this tapering in a bit more through here. So if you were to look through the back window, you'd see a blackout, kind of like that. Now the A-pillar needs a little bit of curvature to follow the glass, so I'm just going to add a row of points here. Just bring that out. Just bring that out a little bit. Maybe out a little this way. So it's got a little bit of curvature to it. There. Now the A-pillar is looking a little thin to me, so I'm going to just bring the leading edge a bit further forward. It's looking a little bit more robust. Probably go a little bit thicker this way as well. So now we have a pretty well enclosed interior. We can always pop the headliner off, but now you get a nice sense of what it's like being in the space. Just tightening up this edge here. So you know now you have a nice space to be in. So now if I turn on my actually, do I have a oh, it's the battery. Yeah, okay. So if I turn on my interior wireframe, right, it's all there. Now I can go in and say, okay, now I've got to go in and so I'll lock the headliner in the tub and bring all of this inboard where it needs to be. It's not a big deal right now because I'm going to end up building that seat anyway in a later episode. But you know, if I start to bring in, let's say my driving mode, you know, now I actually have a pretty nice sense of the space, right? And if I go to home orientation, I can actually go into full size and see this thing in human scale. You know, and with the headliner, I have a nice sense of what the view outside is going to be like. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that, you know, just how to tub out the interior. So now I can really focus on building out the main volumes. So the plan is going to be, I'm going to start to put some dimension on these key forms, and then from there I can do some really nice sketch overlays. So please stay tuned, and I'm going to go in and in the next video and show you how I tub out the sports car. Thank you.